Welcome back to This Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a truly mind-bending paradox from an ancient text known as the Treatise on the Great Perfection of Wisdom. Honestly, this is one of those texts that just completely flips how we usually understand reality, effort, and even our life's purpose. I mean, think about it. Have you ever wondered why you should bother working so hard, or helping people, or trying to achieve literally anything if, in the grand scheme of things, everything is fleeting or quote-unquote empty? Well, you are definitely not alone in that thought. Today, we're going to unpack exactly how this ancient philosophy tackles that very dilemma. So, let's kick things off with the core doubt raised by a disciple named Subhuti. And it's a brilliant question, really. He essentially asks the Buddha, look, if everything in the universe is fundamentally empty and lacks any inherent existence, why on earth should anyone endure the immense, painful hardships required to save others and reach supreme enlightenment? Like, why not just sit back and do absolutely nothing? It is the ultimate existential question.
We're going to solve this massive philosophical riddle together, step by step. We'll be covering 1. Emptiness and resolve. 2. The sequential path. 3. The six perfections. 4. The formless mind. And finally, 5. Ultimate wisdom.
Starting right in with part 1, emptiness and resolve.
You know, in the West, whenever we hear the word emptiness, we almost always picture a dark void, right? Like a vacuum or just utter nothingness. But this text redefines that idea completely. Ultimate emptiness does not mean nothingness. Actually, scratch that. It means phenomena just lack fixed, rigid boundaries. And because nothing is permanently fixed, everything is in a state of boundless potential. Emptiness isn't some dead end. It's literally the open space that allows anything to happen.
And this leads right into a phenomenal counter-argument. The Buddha flawlessly flips Subhuti's skepticism on its head. He points out that precisely because there are no fixed obstacles, boundless compassion is entirely possible. Think about it. If the world were rigidly solid and unchangeable, you couldn't change yourself, and you definitely couldn't help anyone else. Emptiness means the path is wide open. So the Buddha just asks him, since there are zero obstacles, what on earth prevents you from resolving to achieve ultimate wisdom? Let's move on to part 2, the sequential path for the newcomer. Now, you can't just leap straight into ultimate emptiness. You have to climb there, rung by rung. The text breaks this down into 3 really structured phases for beginners. First, you act, mostly through giving and charity. Second, you learn, by training your mind in morality and meditation. And then third, through all that discipline, you finally achieve the path of wisdom. It's an incredibly grounded, step-by-step approach. To help wrap our heads around these overwhelming concepts, the text uses this beautiful metaphor. The absolute truth of ultimate emptiness, it can be deeply unsettling. It's like a harsh, bitter medicine. It cures you, sure, but man, it is hard to swallow. So those sequential practices we just talked about, doing good deeds, charity, morality, they act like sweet, soothing honey. The honey makes the medicine of emptiness palatable until your mind is actually strong enough to handle the absolute truth completely on its own.
That brings us to part 3, the 6 perfections, where action meets emptiness.
The absolute crucial takeaway here is that every single physical action has to eventually be paired with an internal mindset of total non-attachment. For instance, if you practice giving, providing food and wealth, you have to simultaneously realize that the gift itself is fundamentally empty of any permanent nature. If you practice morality, you follow the rules, but you don't become obsessively attached to them. And if you practice patience during hardship, you endure it by realizing there's ultimately no fixed self that's even being harmed. It's this perfect, delicate balance of taking action while totally letting go. Now, right alongside those perfections are the 6 recollections. This is a practice for beginners to really focus their minds. But of course, there's a twist. The text instructs that when you're practicing these, like remembering the Buddha, the teachings, the community, you absolutely must not grasp at physical characteristics. You're not supposed to focus on the visual signs of the Buddha's physical body. There's no need to imagine some glowing golden figure because his true nature is formless. You are remembering the essence, entirely free of physical boundaries. Moving right along to part 4, the formless mind and non-attainment. We arrive at this incredible psychological state called the endurance of non-arising. This is a highly advanced state of realization. It basically means you deeply, fundamentally understand that all situations, all the praises, all the insults, they don't truly arise or cease in a permanent way. Once a practitioner actually achieves this, they can act in our messy, chaotic world without being emotionally stained by it. It's much like how the sky can never be permanently stained by passing clouds.
And right here, the Buddha delivers this mind-bending paradox. Non-attainment is the path itself. Just think about how wild that is compared to our modern mindset. We are always striving to get something, right? But the text argues that trying to aggressively grasp or obtain enlightenment actually destroys the path. Why? Because true reality is entirely ungraspable. The very second you try to put enlightenment in a neat little box and own it, you've lost it. Letting go of the desire to attain is the actual attainment.
So what does this look like in practice? Well, during a profound act of charity, the advanced practitioner experiences a three-part emptiness. It's a total dissolution of roles. They see no distinct, ego-driven giver. They see no separate receiver to feel superior to, and they see no actual object being given that they can feel proud of losing. The action still happens beautifully and generously, but all those mental attachments to the roles, they are completely gone. Here we can clearly see the contrast between the beginner and the master. The new learner really relies on those sequential steps we talked about. They need that sweet honey of conventional reality to do good deeds. But the advanced bodhisattva, they don't need to compartmentalize at all, because they have let go of all dualities, good and bad, self and other. They can practice all the virtues simultaneously, effortlessly, in literally everything they do. And at the absolute highest level, the text reveals something truly staggering. All those 6 perfections, all the boundless merits, and all the immense compassion we've been talking about, they can all be perfectly executed in just one single, non-dual thought. When the mind is entirely free of grasping, a single moment of pure, unattached intention contains the entire path. It's absolute, profound efficiency. Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, Ultimate Wisdom. Pulling everything together, we see this complete arc of realization. It starts from that initial resolve, moves right through the step-by-step practices, arrives at the unshakable endurance of non-arising, and finally culminates in achieving supreme enlightenment. But notice that 4th stage, purifying majestic lands. This proves once and for all that Buddhist emptiness is not a dark void that leads to nothingness. Rather, emptiness is the very canvas, the vital foundation that allows the exquisite majesty of a perfected reality to be built in the first place. Now, to truly test this philosophy, the text poses a brutal, extreme scenario. Just imagine a practitioner is out there in the real world, actively trying to do good, giving charity, and they are met not with gratitude, but with violent hostility. They're attacked with weapons or stones. How exactly does a mind grounded in ultimate emptiness react to something like that? The answer is deeply challenging, but so profound. The text says they feel absolutely no anger. None. Why? Because they've internalized ultimate emptiness so perfectly that they perceive no solid self that's being insulted or injured. They see no permanent attacker to hold a grudge against, and they see the phenomenon of the attack itself as just a fleeting illusion. Because of this, their resilience is absolute. They don't retaliate. They respond only with boundless compassion. And this beautifully brings us full circle to wrap up our paradox from the very beginning. Subhuti asked, if everything is empty, why even act? The text answers, precisely because nothing can be fundamentally grasped, you can truly benefit everyone. If you clung to your ego or your gifts or your pride, you would eventually burn out, become resentful, or even cause harm. Recognizing that everything is ungraspable is the exact superpower you need to sustainably save the world. I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder about your own life. We spend so much of our energy agonizing over outcomes, right? Gripping so tightly to our successes and our failures. But if the most profound actions are born from a mindset of non-attainment and emptiness, how will you choose to act in your world today, fully and completely, but without clinging to the results? I really hope this explainer has sparked a new way of looking at your own actions and attachments. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.